Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Morning, everyone. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Oh, my voice. Hold on. Whoa, that wasn't me. Sorry about that. It still may not be me. Let me take a sip of water. What happened as soon as the show started? Oh, my God. We'll give it a go. I'm fine. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you're all ready for December. We got through Thanksgiving. Now it's time for December. Let the holiday season begin. Ray Flowers here. I'm with you Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday here on the show. On Wednesdays, I'm not here. Justin Fensterman is here. So we're here 5 days a week from about 12 to 1 Eastern. So about an hour each day, Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, also on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, is Jeff Mann's show. Now that show is from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we go for about an hour here. You get about an hour break, and then you get about 3 hours with Jeff. I'm with Jeff on Wednesdays, which is why I'm not here. But hey, happy holidays, Ray Flowers. Follow me at the Ray Flowers on the variety of social medias. I think we've got the technology fixed, right? Looks like we got the camera locked in. So we did get a visit from the vent just briefly, the decorated vent with the Santa hat. So if you missed that, you can always check me out on Instagram at the Ray Flowers. But here's a view of the tree from last year with the view of the valley behind us from my home. It's kind of zoomed in. I should probably get a better picture, but hell, it works for this. So anyway, I'm getting into the holiday season. I got my holiday sweater on. I'm dreaming of a great white Christmas. And it's got great white shark. Yeah, buddy, let's do this. Hopefully you're all, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate, you have a good holiday season. What are we doing today? Let's throw it up on the old screen there. Let's do this. We are doing a Monday review. This is the only day of the week, as you just heard, where I'm solo. On those Mondays, as I ride solo, I just blast through all the Sunday game action, going game by game, team by team. I got no notes. I have 2 notes, actually. I should say that. Let me see. I have 2 notes. I have one about Bryce Young and one about Chuba Hubbard, and that's it. So I have 2 notes. The rest of it's just winging it. We just go and see what happens and how it all plays out. We're going game by game, again, team by team. The only day of the week where I'm riding solo. So we'll dive into that in a second. As you can see that on the screen, we do have the all-in package with the NFL. You know, three things, one price. I just had it up on the screen in the banner too. If you sign up right now, you get the seasonal football, you get DFS football, you get wagering football. Maybe you're just want to try something different. Maybe you want to see what we got to offer at FantasyGuru.com. We talk about it on the show all the time. Jeff Mans is talking about it all the time. It's a great chance to get in right now and kind of kick the tires. It's like a sixth of the normal price. Like it's way discounted. Obviously, you get an opportunity to get the chat rooms, the discussions, the articles, the rankings, the live streams, all of that. Maybe it'll help intrigue you. Maybe it'll help you make some money down the stretch here, pay for some holiday gifts. I can't speak. Maybe it'll just be something you want to try to see for next year. So hit us up, hit that subscribe tab in the top right corner. Send an email to support@fantasyguru.com, support@fantasyguru.com. The numbers are low today. Let's get going. Hopefully tell a friend, spread the word, all that kind of stuff. It's a Monday after the holidays. I was out on the weekend. No one's out. So I'm assuming everyone was away on vacation. Maybe they're all back today and the traffic is terrible. I'm very fortunate I get to work from home, which is a huge benefit. Many ways to listen/watch the show. Go to fantasyguru.com, click the Elite Plus tab at the top of the page. When you do that, you get all locked in to the podcast, all the old shows and everything like that. You can also, as you see there, just type in Fantasy Sports Daily wherever you listen. YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, any of those places, just type in Fantasy Sports Daily. And then the 3 places you all know and love. YouTube.com/@Elite Plus Network, Facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ, and Twitter X @FantasyGuru site. In those 3 places, you can leave comments and questions that we will and do address throughout the show. Let's start off with the Panthers moving to 7-6 and the Rams falling to 9-3 as the Panthers defeated the Rams 31-28. Woo! Starting on the Rams side of things here, Blake Corum had a nice game, but he only touched the ball 7 times. He finally got in the end zone, right? And this is the thing with Blake Corum. I think, without looking, I think this is his first game of 8 PPR points since like week 2 or something like that. Like he just doesn't score. And if he hadn't gotten in the end zone yesterday, he would have got you 8 points. He got in the end zone. People get excited about that. Still had only half as many touches as Kyren Williams. He is involved, all that kind of stuff. But again, we continue to speak cautiously about Blake Corum. He is a desperation flex option. He's a great handcuff to Kyren Williams, who did tweak his ankle, so we'll keep an eye on that. But he's a desperation play in the fantasy space. Matthew Stafford threw his 2 touchdowns. He also was picked twice. It's remarkable they get down to the goal line and all they do is throw Devontae Adams. 2 more touchdowns for Devontae Adams. He's a cheat code. I mean, we used to talk about back in the day guys that were goal line stealers. Like some running back would run for 1,200 yards and have 4 touchdowns. The backup guy would run for 400 yards, have 9 touchdowns, right? That's kind of what Devontae Adams is, because they get down near that goal line and all they do is throw slants to him at the goal line, and it always seems to work. He got in the end zone twice. Puka Nacua was fine, 6 for 72, but he's, when he's not catching 10 passes, and that's hard to do consistently, you're going to get games like this because he's just not utilized in that red zone, green zone in particular, like Devontae Adams is. You've probably seen the one-handed catch Nacua made. I think I saw it 29 times yesterday during the broadcast. Like, it was a phenomenal catch, but come on. There's other football things going on with us here. So bottom line is that's it. Xavier Smith, 3 catches, 82 yards. Who cares? Colby Parkinson has 4 catches, but didn't get in the end zone, didn't do anything. So that's kind of a review there. On the Panther side of things, they moved to 7-6. They're clearly in the playoff hunt. They scored 31 points here against the Rams' solid defense. Obviously, there was an interception, pick 6 return there. So some of that scoring wasn't against the Rams defense, but the Panthers, did some good things here. However, there's some concerns here. And I've seen people jokingly say, oh, Bryce Young, I'm picking up Bryce Young. I'm going with Bryce Young, all that kind of stuff. Bryce Young, and I've been saying, right, that Bryce Young has thrown for 200 yards twice all season. Well, now I could say Bryce Young has thrown for 206 yards 3 times this season, because he threw for 206 yards yesterday. He had 3 touchdowns. Strong fantasy game. Before you get overwhelmed here, realize the following. And here's one of the 2 notes I have. Became Bryce Young, the second quarterback since 2016, so a decade, with multiple touchdown passes that traveled over 10 air yards on 4th down in a single game. For those of you that didn't see the game or read the box score fully, 2 of the 3 touchdowns that Bryce Young threw were on 4th down. That never happens. As you heard there, they were both over 10 air yards on 4th down. That's only happened twice in a decade in the entire NFL on 4th down. Further, the 2 touchdowns both went for over 30 yards. So if those 2 4th down completions against Emmanuel Forbes, who was burned both times, there's the same defender for the Rams that got burned both times. If those 2 passes weren't completed, Panthers don't win this football game, number 1. And number 2, Bryce Young throws for 140 yards and 1 touchdown. So be very, very, very cautious with the Bryce Young love. On the ground, for the first time since week 8, Chuba Hubbard, played more than 50% of the snaps. And while Rico Dowdle still had his 20 touches, the more productive running back yesterday was Chuba Hubbard. And he had 17 carries and 2 catches. They're not going to have 40 touches to the running backs very often, right? We know this. That's just not something that frequently happens in the NFL. If you have Dowdle, you got to be a little bit nervous here. We've talked about this on the show. Jeff's been talking about that as well. Thank you, Doc, for loving the tree. I appreciate you. As we've been talking about on the show, when Jeff's talked about, Dowdle has, he's starting to slow, which again, a lot of work and hits and that kind of thing. Chuba Hubbard's trending toward being healthy. He's seeing the field more. He saw a huge volume there yesterday. He scored a touchdown as a pass catcher. He had more burst, it looked like, than Dowdle. So that is something to keep in mind. The Panthers do have a bye this week. So that'll something we'll have to think about long term. But they basically drew each other to a draw in the backfield yesterday with the Panthers. This one's going to be a little bit short. Yeah, you're right. Forbes got beat twice for like 70 yards and 2 touchdowns on 4th downs. It's crazy. You're right, Land. Oh, Christian. This is going to be a little bit shorter day than normal. Normally we go about an hour, but we had the 3 games on Turkey Day. We had the Black Friday. Did you buy stuff at Black Friday, folks? I asked this on Friday last week. No, I actually must have asked it on Turkey Day. We were here last week on Thanksgiving. For those of you that missed it, you can always again catch all the old episodes. Do you actually go out on Black Friday? Do you actually sit out there at 4 a.m. and get a coupon to go get your waffle iron or your toaster or your immersion blender? I don't know. I have never done that, but some people do. Next up, Niners versus the Browns. The Niners predictably won this football game 26-8. I say predictably won this football game. There were a lot of games that were not predictable this week. Obviously, we had the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. We had the Packers beat the Lions. We had the Bengals beat the Ravens. We just talked about Carolina beating the Rams. I can't wait to see how great my picks were this week. I think all of our staff took a beating this week, as you all probably did too. A lot of upsets this week. Niners are one of the few teams that won a game they were supposed to. 26-8. On the Niners side, they're 9-4, and they're a dicey 9-4. It's really remarkable. I'll give them mad credit. They are my hometown team and all that kind of stuff, but they've won games with beat up offensive players all season long. Their defense is trashed. A lot of the defense left in the offseason to go to other teams. And then the guys they had here got hurt. They've lost Bosa, their number one pass rusher. They've lost Fred Warner, their number one defensive player. Like, it's remarkable they're 9-4. Christian McCaffrey got in the end zone yesterday. Only caught 4 balls, but got in the end zone yesterday. Difficult matchup against the Browns. The Browns, one of the better defenses in football. Christian McCaffrey, another 24 touches. He's going to die, but they gave him 24 touches. Less than 75 yards. So he got in the end zone, so you were okay with McCaffrey, but a disappointing game for him. Brock Purdy threw for 160 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a touchdown, so that kept his fantasy exploits borderline passable. Like, it wasn't a good matchup to be using Purdy anyway. We all know that. I think one of the big storylines here is that we heard about Brandon Ayuk, and it seems unlikely he'll play another snap for the Niners. Juwan Jennings continues to be very successful when Brock Purdy's on the field, 4 for 39 in a score. But Ricky Pearsall, another game with Ricky Pearsall. This time it was 3 targets, 2 catches, 14 yards. Ricky Pearsall is on the field for all of the snaps. Ricky Pearsall is on the field running all the routes, and he's just not part of the offense. He just isn't part. This is 3 games now where he has not been a part of the offense, which is stunning because, again, he's on the field all the time, but they never integrate him in the offense. 3 games now with Ricky Pearsall. So for those people hoping there was going to be a strong finish from Pearsall, guess it's still possible. Fantasy playoffs starting in a couple weeks for most people. But I don't know. I mean, legitimately, I don't know how you play him the next game. How? I couldn't recommend doing it. He's just not part of the offense. On the other side of things, Quinton Junkins had 25 touches. And he had over 100 scrimmage yards, so solid effort for him. Didn't get in the end zone, but a solid effort there. We'll have to watch the health of Dylan Sampson. He tweaked his leg yesterday. I'm trying to remember what it was. We'll have to watch that and to see if he's going to be able to be on the field. Shedeur Sanders, he just ain't it. I mean, maybe he'll develop, and I'm not saying he's not as good a fantasy option right now as Dylan Gabriel, but he's just not it. And again, the guy's made a couple of starts in the NFL. Okay. 149 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I saw a stat yesterday. What is it? He took like 3.7 seconds to throw the ball on average, which was like the longest any Browns quarterback has taken in 10 years in a game or something like that. Got to get rid of the ball, kid. Like, you can't be running around back there and your guys aren't going to get open. So Fanning got in the end zone. So if you played him, you were fine. 3 catches for 43 yards. David Njoku just isn't part of the offense right now. Some of it's his knee. I think some of it is they're moving on because he's not likely to be with the team next year. Some of it's just the way Sanders sees the field. But yeah, this Browns offense just yuck. Houston defeated the Colts. Here we go, Houston. They're up to 7-5 now, making a playoff push. The Colts fall to 8-4. On the Texans side of things, Woody Marks hurt his foot, missed some time. There were other times where he's on the field stretching it, watching it, and holding his foot. Let's keep an eye on that this week because, you know, adrenaline and taping you up and everything like that. Now the swelling is there. Now the recovery. So Marks is somebody to keep a very close eye on in the reports this week. Because again, yesterday he didn't do anything. 19 carries for 64 yards. He never does anything on the ground. They're just not a good running team. But he also got 20 touches. And as we talk about all the time, you get 20 touches. Hey, Nick Chubb got in the end zone, 9 carries for 34 yards. He didn't do anything either. CJ Stroud returned and looked solid. Started slow, found his footing in the second half. Didn't do anything from a fantasy perspective. 276 yards, no touchdowns, and interception. But they won the game. Nico Collins had a rushing touchdown. He caught 5 for 98. He was the star on offense. Jaden Higgins, 5 for 65. It's not Noel. It's not Hutchinson. It's not Kirk. The number 2 receiver for this team is now Higgins. So they've got those 2 big guys in Higgins and Collins to challenge defenses with. And yesterday they both came through. And then Dalton Schultz, 7 for 55. I still got a couple Dalton Schultz questions last week. I don't get it. The dude gives you 10 points every week. And in the non-PPR, I get it. He never gets in the end zone. But in a PPR setup, he's giving you 10 points every single week. Why would you ever take him out of your lineup or be worried about that? It's almost defense proof. He's done it for 2 months now almost. It's just been very, very consistent without ceiling games. On the other side, Daniel Jones has got a broken leg we heard last week. Okay. Didn't look terrible. Didn't look good yesterday, but didn't look terrible. Moved around okay-ish. 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He had just a single carry. Did fumble the ball, was recovered though. So didn't turn the ball over. They lost a game here. Remember, the Texans are a really good defense. So I think a lot of that, the struggles yesterday that the Colts had, weren't all on Jones. It was on the fact they were playing the Texans. Jonathan Taylor had 85 yards on the ground, caught 3 balls. So he had 24 touches, 115 scrimmage yards, a very solid day without the touchdowns that we're used to seeing for him. So slightly disappointing, but still it was a solid day. And Alec Pierce, 4 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. He's not the number 1 receiver on the Colts team. Is he? No, he's not. But he's certainly trending upward. I got a question this morning about Michael Pittman over in Discord at fantasyguru.com. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's odd that the field stretcher Pierce is more targets than the underneath guy Pittman, right? It all depends on the defense and how they're being, again, this is teams make decisions on how to, cover opposing teams and all that kind of stuff. But 1 catch for 13 yards for Pittman is dreadful. And the person in Discord was really concerned about Pittman and it's like, well, should I make a trade? I don't know how you can still make trades in leagues at this point. To me, that's weird, but okay. Pittman, just because of, a couple of games are kind of, I mean, again, I think some people, this whole Indiana Jones and the Daniel, like, who did you, like, I've talked about this many times. I drafted in our Dynasty League 50 roster spots, 12 teams. I drafted Daniel Jones in the 33rd round this year. No one, 4 months ago, no one even wanted Daniel Jones. Then he goes out and has a great couple of games, and everyone forgets the last 3 years. It's like, Daniel Jones is fine. They didn't lose the game because of him yesterday. He's fine. Is he a star? No. Is Michael Pittman going to be better? Yeah. Don't panic on Michael Pittman. A little bit more of a panic with Downs, who made 1 great catch yesterday. I mean, he's kind of like Ricky Pearsall for this team a lot of times. Saints fell to the Dolphins. Dolphins are in the playoff hunt at 5-7 in the AFC. It's going to be a wild finish to the season here in the NFL. They won 21-17 for the Saints. Devin Neal was the fantasy story. Unfortunately, it was a very moderate story. On the plus side, Neal touched the ball 17 times, exactly as we hoped he would do. 3 catches, we were hoping for 5, but he got 3 balls. 14 carries, 47 yards, another game where the Saints just didn't run the football. And that's just how it is. They won't run the football effectively. And Tyler Shuck, he threw for a couple scores and he was running around all the time. He's better than Rattler. And he made a really nice touchdown pass to Vele. That was a beautiful pass to Vele, who, by the way, 8 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown, which is bonkers. Bonkers for Vele. Now, Tipton, Mr. Tipton, who used to play defense, and Olave are the 3 wideouts on this team now. Olave had the touchdown. Could have had a second touchdown right there at the end of the game. Could have won the game. Didn't pull the ball in. Yeah. Tipton didn't do anything. 3 catches for 20 yards. Vele did. We're not making the mistake. Let's not make the mistake of thinking we're getting 6 for 75 each week from Vele. 8 for 93 and 1. Someone in your league is going to pay, I would think. Don't make it you. We'll talk more about waiver wire moving forward here this week. But great game. No one used them. No one should have used them. If you missed it, you missed it. Who cares? And then, Taysom Hill played 12 snaps. We kind of thought he'd see more work with Alvin Kamara out. Played 12 snaps. Didn't do anything. What a wasted season Taysom Hill's had. Oh. On the other side of things, I mean, I'll be straight honest with all of you. I'm watching this game yesterday, and I even sent an IM to the guys from the Sirius show. I honestly think, and I'm in my 50s now, and my left shoulder's broken, and my right shoulder's getting close, and my elbow's trash from playing baseball for 25 years. I'm pretty sure I could throw the football as hard as Tua Tagovailoa. And as beat up as I am, I talk about my back issues and all that. I know I'm as mobile in the pocket as Tua Tagovailoa is. He looks old. He has no speed with his feet at all. When he rolls out, it looks like it's in slow motion. I don't know if he's ever driven a football. He just lollipops balls with anticipation. And look, there's a lot of similarity with Brock Purdy, right? And this is not a strange thing. The Niners offense, the Rams offense, same coaching tree, right? All that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, I watched Tua Tagovailoa play, and it's like, bro, and I jokingly said, I think Dan Marino's as mobile as Tua Tagovailoa. And Dan Marino's what, 60 years old, and he was not mobile at all when he played. Like, it's painful to watch Tua play. And, this offense has been wonky all season long. Yesterday, Devon Achane ran for 134 yards and a touchdown. He is the offense. Didn't catch a pass, which is crazy. 0 receptions, 1 target, 0 receptions. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches for 40 yards, didn't do anything, strangely, oddly, because normally, as we saw again yesterday, Tua just throws the ball to him 100 times, doesn't care about the coverage. Just didn't work out yesterday. Darren Waller was back. Led the team with 2 catches for 47 yards. This offense is bad. We know what it is. Tua Tagovailoa, yikes. I just don't quite get it there. Next up, Atlanta, New York Jets. New York Jets won a football game. Go Jets. 27-24. Pretty nice to see the Jets win. They had a 10-yard touchdown from Taylor in the fourth quarter to come back. They were down 7 points in the fourth quarter. Scored a touchdown late, then had the field goal to end the game. 56 yards by Nick Folk, who missed his first kick of the season in the game, but I think it was another 55-yarder or something. But the Jets won the football game. On the Falcons side, I mean, Kirk Cousins threw for 234 yards and a touchdown with no interceptions. And he completed 2/3 of his passes, basically. That, given the offense, given the weapons he has at his disposal, given the lack of Drake London, that's about as good as Kirk Cousins should be expected to do. From a pass catching perspective, for whatever reason, Kyle Pitts eats up the Jets. He always has. They played the last 3 times. He catches, I think he's caught like 6 passes every game or something, and he did it again yesterday, 7 for 82 yards. They desperately need Drake London for this offense to work effectively. Davis Sills got in the end zone with a really nice touchdown catch there in the fourth quarter, 9-yard pass. He was out in the right flat. Defense was coming. He stopped and reversed his field, and the defender ran right by him. Really nice play by Sills, but 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. Some guy named Tompkins, we know who he is, caught 2 passes. Some guy named Drummond caught a pass. Darnell Mooney caught 2 for 25. Bijan Robinson had a rushing touchdown. Lost a touchdown to Algier because they continue to give the ball to Algier near the goal line. But Robinson had 5 catches, 190 scrimmage yards, and a touchdown. He is their offense. And he was again yesterday against the Jets. On the Jets side, Tyrod Taylor, from a fantasy perspective, he threw for a touchdown. He had 8 carries, 44 yards, and another touchdown. It's a win. Real world, watching this game, is he better than Justin Fields? Skill-wise, no. Does he see the field better? Does he give more of an opportunity to his pass catchers? Okay. And we saw that yesterday, but he's, Breece Hall, the rushing touchdown. Breece Hall, another 20-plus touches. Very moderate yardage because this offense just isn't very good. But got in the end zone, so you're fine if you played him. Adonai Mitchell, who had the case of the drops, right? 8 for 102 and 1. Had a huge game yesterday. He transitioned his case of the drops to his teammate, John Mechie, who by some counts dropped 3, at least 2 official, maybe 3, depending upon what the final numbers say. He turned 8 targets into 4 catches for 19 yards. Mechie and Mitchell had 20 targets of the 33 pass attempts for Taylor, which means Mason Taylor, 2 catches for 21 yards. Mason Taylor's breakout that was happening for a couple of weeks in his rookie season vanished. He's no longer anything other than a check down guy who catches a couple passes a game. Mitchell had a great game. There's going to be a lot of chasing on the waiver wire. We'll talk more about him this week too. But remember with Mitchell, he's a deep threat. He has had issues with his hands at times. He's not likely to, if he's catching 8 passes a game, your offense is in trouble. He should be catching 4 or 5 passes for 75 yards and a touchdown, right? He should be Alec Pierce, the old teammate, right? That's 12 targets, 8 catches. That just shows you where the Jets are at right now. Mechie shouldn't be dropped if you added him. You didn't spend much if you did. Terribly disappointing effort for him, though at least they kept running him out there even late in the game after the drops. Next up, Arizona, Tampa Bay. Let's talk a little bit there. I see Landa Christian asked me, what position did you play in baseball mostly? I played mostly first base. I was the biggest kid on the team growing up, and I was the first baseman cleanup hitter. That was who I was. I played, the only position I didn't play in a game was center field and catcher. I did catch and practice some. They wanted me to catch. I didn't want to do it, so I didn't. So the only position I haven't played is catcher and center field in the actual games. When I hit 15, so when I was in Babe Ruth, I started pitching, not because I could pitch, but because no one else could throw strikes. So I pitched there. I also pitched a little bit in high school. My claim to fame is I had a complete game in high school, 17-1. And no, I didn't give up the 17 runs. I gave up the 1 run. Should have been a shutout. Really disappointing. We had a ground ball like in the 5th inning that was right at my shortstop, Kane Butera, right at my shortstop, and it hit a rock and literally bounced over his head. Like it took an 8-foot bounce. So a guy scored from second base. So I should have had a shutout too. So I was a really good baseball player, though my pitching, no, I was more of a first baseman. All right. Next up, Tampa Bay defeated the Cardinals 20-17. Close game here. 7-5 are now the Buccaneers. The Cardinals fall to 3-9. On the Cardinals side of things, Zonovan Knight had a fumble, but he did another solid effort there. He ran for 62 yards. He caught 3 balls for a touchdown. He almost had 100 yards from scrimmage and had a touchdown. Trey Benson this week. It's going to happen, Trey Benson? Are you finally going to play? This injury was supposed to take 4 weeks. What's going to be 7? Like 8? I don't know. Benson should be active this next game for the Cardinals. That is my expectation. Well, you will see if that happens. From a passing perspective, which is more of what people care about right now with this team, Jacoby Brissett, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, did it again. Another strong fantasy effort for him. Greg Dortch, who had a couple of huge games back-to-back, disappeared from the offense because of the return of Marvin Harrison. 2 targets, 2 catches for him, nothing. Michael Wilson caught 3 balls for 36 yards. Disappointing. Beat up a little bit physically, and he's kind of dealing with some things there. But the real issue for him was the return of Marvin Harrison. 7 targets, 6 catches, 69 yards for Harrison. Harrison didn't finish the game. He was beat up physically, so we'll have to wait and see what's going on with Marvin Harrison. Michael Wilson might go right back to getting 10 targets. Yet again, we got this question from Landa Christian. Landa Christian's all over the chat today. What's my prediction for Michael Wilson going forward? He easily could have had more catches yesterday if it weren't for a couple of bad passes. Correct. Brissett threw 40 passes last week or yesterday, which is low for him. And that's really the issue. You can't throw the ball 44 times every game. Like they're doing it, but you can't do it. It just, we're getting 10 targets to the tight end, right? We then have to spread the ball around. We're getting 5, 8 targets to the running back. So now we're up to 18 targets. Then we're going to get 8 targets to Marvin Harrison. We're up to 26 targets. Then we're going to get 2 targets to Dortch and 2 to Higgins and 2 to Weaver. Now we're up to like 33 targets. We got to throw 40 targets for Wilson to get 10, right? That's the real issue here. It clearly looked like yesterday with the return of Harrison that Wilson was relegated to the wide receiver 2 duties. Now remember, Dortch is way wide receiver 3. So he's not. It's going to be Wilson and Harrison. The problem for Wilson is you have a tight end in McBride who gets 10 targets a week. Most teams don't have that at their tight end, obviously. So I would anticipate Wilson being a borderline wide receiver 3-4. But again, we have to look at the health situation with Harrison because Harrison's not at 100%. On the Buccaneer side of things, Bucky Irving returned to our lives. Bucky Irving lost a touchdown on a penalty. Rachaad White lost a touchdown on a penalty. Chris Godwin dropped the ball in the end zone that should have been a touchdown. So the Bucs won this game, but it's like, woof. Like that's 3 touchdowns right there they could have had that they didn't. Irving did get in the end zone. There was some concern about how often he would play or whatever, and he didn't have a great game with 81 scrimmage yards, but he touched the ball 19 times and got in the end zone. Looked good. Should be fine moving forward as their lead running back. Chris Godwin, 3 for 78 yards. Again, dropped the touchdown. He was in the end zone right in his hands. Emeka Egbuka, here we go, 4 for 42. We talked about this on the show. I've written about it in my articles over at fantasyguru.com, including the Coffin Corner piece that comes out Friday. This is Ibuka. This has been Ibuka for 6 weeks, 4 catches for 40 yards. He's gone from a breakout potential rookie star to just a dude really quickly. It's hard being a young receiver in the NFL and having to be the guy. It's very hard. Having Chris Godwin on the field, having Mike Evans on the field, you know that would then say, well, he's not likely he's getting more than 7 or 8 targets because there's just too many guys to spread the ball around to. But it opens up the field so much more for a rookie to do his thing. And I think that's part of it. Part of it's Baker Mayfield not being 100% physically with that left shoulder injury. It is kind of what it is. So hopefully things will improve a little bit with Godwin now back. But again, Godwin has got some of his own things to work out there. Use those hands, Chris Godwin. The Jaguars beat the Titans. The Titans are awful. 25-3 was the score here. Jaguars moved to 8-4. The Titans are just awful. I mean, I can't. They're just awful. Jaguars didn't do anything particularly exciting in this game. Touchdown to Brenton Strange. Only caught 3 balls on his 4 targets, but got in the end zone. So win if you started him. Jacoby Myers. Hey, this is Jacoby Myers. And I was talking to someone in Discord about him this morning too. They're getting excited about Jacoby Myers the last couple of weeks. Oh, yeah, he's trending up and all this. Jacoby Myers, since he's become a Jaguar, has been what Jacoby Myers has been for like 3 years. It's just the Raiders forgot that in 2025. Like 6 targets, 6 catches. That's kind of where Jacoby Myers has been. He's been living in the 6 target, 4 to 6 catch zone for a couple of years now. Not a big touchdown threat. Did get in the end zone yesterday. Not a big touchdown guy, but he can score you 6 to 8 touchdowns. He can catch 80 passes. Yeah. And right now, Brian Thomas returned. Thomas had 3 targets, caught 2 of them for 28 yards. Now, it was good to see him catch that first pass and use his hands. So good job, Brian Thomas. Myers and Thomas are the guys now, especially with Parker Washington getting beat up yesterday. So we're not clear how much time, if any, Washington's going to miss. So we'll have to assess the situation as we move forward here. Washington, who had really drawn a comfort zone and a connection with Lawrence, he's now out. Myers is probably the number 1 wide receiver right now for this team. But again, it's not something to get uber excited about. They threw the ball 27 times, 229 yards for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, he's dealt with drops this year, but also he hasn't exactly been winning games with his arm. So, Myers certainly trending up. Thomas, we'll hope. We'll see. Good to see him back out there yesterday, finally. Unfortunately, didn't do much. Didn't need to in the game. They defeated the Titans. And again, the Titans are just awful. Like, there's nothing. I mean, Helm had 6 catches, I think, for the second straight game. Maybe 23 yards yesterday. Cam Ward is not it. You throw 38 passes in the NFL for 141 yards. That, I have one word for you, folks, and that word is atrocious. It's awful. Guys are hurt. Guys are out of the lineup. Okay. This offense is bereft of anything. DK, 1 catch for 8 yards. Chigakonkwo was the leader with 29 yards. Spears caught 6 balls. Who cares? Spears caught 6 balls yesterday. Let's play this out. He had 2 carries. So he had 6 points for the catches. He had 24 yards. He caught 6 passes and had 8.4 PPR points. Pollard had a nice game on the ground, 10 for 60, but who cares? Can't be playing Titans. Just can't be doing it. Seahawks defeated the Vikings 26-0. What did they? These two teams had like 50 yards of offense in the first quarter. Brosmer and, poor kid. Let's just be a poor kid. He threw 4 picks yesterday, including a pick on 4th down where he's about to get sacked. He wanted to throw the ball, not take a sack to end the drive on turnover on just downs. He threw what might have been the worst pass in the history of football. It's not, but it looked like Dario Yepremian in the Super Bowl back in the 70s. Go look up the Brosmer pick 6 throw that went to Jones, 85-yard pick 6. Just awful. Now, Brosmer, it's 1 start. It's 1 game. He may never, in fact, probably will never start another game in the NFL. Like, JJ McCarthy. I mean, again, Carson Wentz would be the quarterback of this team if he was healthy. JJ McCarthy, was he concussed? I don't know. Is he better than Brosmer? Yeah. Is that saying anything? Absolutely not. We got a situation with Aaron Jones, hurt a shoulder. I saw a question in there. We'll address that in a few minutes. Aaron Jones hurt a shoulder. It's unclear if he's going to be available in the next game for the Vikings. The only offensive player that showed up yesterday was Hawkinson, 6 for 59 yards. I don't know how many people were playing Hawkinson against Seattle anyway with the backup quarterback. Addison had a couple of drops, had 10 targets, had a 33% target share. Brosmer, I don't know if he's afraid to throw it to Jefferson or didn't want to throw into double coverage or whatever it was. But Jefferson caught 2 balls for 4 yards. And this is shocking. And this is why, remember back to draft day, do I take this guy or that guy? This is why this guy looks good in his underwear, this guy runs really fast or jumps really high. That's why that stuff doesn't matter, because all that matters is the team context, how the player is utilized in the sum of their offense. Justin Jefferson is the same superstar he was 12 months ago. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. But this offense is flat out pathetic. And this is bottom. I mean, this is, and he's going to get hurt next game, right? Wink, wink. He's going to get hurt. This is, I mean, you're going to, Justin Jefferson is literally going to the Hall of Fame. Literally going to make the Hall of Fame one day. He's in the prime of his career right now. And they can't get him the football. It's just, do you play Justin Jefferson? Well, if you still have, are you going to make the playoffs if you have Justin Jefferson? I have him in a couple of leagues. I mean, I need a matchup tonight. I need Stephon Diggs to come through tonight in a matchup that I might lose because I got 2 points out of Justin Jefferson. Like, come on, man. If you have Jefferson, as I do, I'm still starting him. But again, I'm also in 12 and 14 team leagues that start 3 wide receivers. If Brosmer's the quarterback again, JJ McCarthy will at least go Jefferson, but it's just dreadful. On the Seahawks side of thing, they didn't do anything. Darnold threw for 128 yards. For the first time all year, Jackson Smith and Jigma vanished from the offense. 2 catches for 23 yards. To think about that, the best receiver in football this year on one side. On the other side, a guy going to the Hall of Fame, and they combined for 4 catches for 27 yards. I mean, oof. Seahawks didn't have to obviously press the gas at all in this game. It was 13-0 at halftime, and it might as well have been 33-0. The game was over at halftime. Walker ran for 56 yards. Charbonnet got in the end zone. It was the only offensive score they had. Myers made 4 field goals. 4 field goals. Not much to see here. Just a awful fantasy game all the way around. I guess if you played Charbonnet, you're fine. She got a touchdown. But he only ran for 52 yards and didn't catch a pass. So, yeah. The Raiders against the Chargers. The Raiders are another team that is awful. And this is a trend that I'm not trying to say this to get clicks or anything, obviously. The NFL's got a real big issue going on right now. And that issue is there are some god-awful offenses going on here. There's some good defenses. Let's give credit to that side of the football. But there are some god-awful offenses in the NFL right now. Raiders fired Chip Kelly. Did it help at all? Didn't help at all. Nothing changed. Geno Smith's still terrible. He had 2 touchdown passes because Brock Bowers is a magician. One of the 2 touchdowns, if you didn't see it, go look at Brock Bowers' touchdown. He caught a ball behind him that was low in the end zone. Everyone's talking about Puka Nakua's catch. I get. But Brock Bowers, Nakua went up. Bowers went down. Go check it out. Bowers, the phenomenal catch. Geno Smith is falling over. He's getting stepped on by his lineman. He's stepping on his lineman. He's running into. Geno Smith is terrible. He's just. Are they going to go to O'Connell or Pickett? I don't think so. They gave him a 3-year contract, right? But I mean, and look at this. They had 2 guys with 25 yards. One was Bowers. The other was Ashton Genty, who averaged 5 yards a catch. He turned 8 targets into 30 yards. Ran for 31 yards on the ground. This Raiders offense is broken, straight up. On the Chargers side, the big story obviously is the health of Justin Herbert. Missed some plays yesterday. Trey Lance got in there. Justin Herbert he hurt his left hand. He returned to the game after missing some time yesterday. And it's been reported that he's going to have surgery on his hand. Before we all panic, he came to the podium after the game and said the doctors told him that the surgery they're talking about having him undergo on his left non-throwing hand would be such that it's not invasive to the point where it possibly plays the next game for the Chargers. So this is not a death blow if you've got Justin Herbert and it's all over. He's going to miss the rest of the season. None of that at all. The Chargers, by the way, moved 8-4 to solidify their strength on a playoff spot in the AFC. But there is a chance this evolving story. We'll have to follow it all week long. But the expectation as of right now, let me see if any news broke. Let's see. No, I don't see anything here. By the way, the Vikings waived Adam Thielen. Didn't they trade for him? They traded a 2026 fifth-round pick and a 2027 fourth-round pick for Thielen. Didn't throw him the ball yesterday. He wasn't active yesterday. He was a healthy scratch yesterday, and they released him. So they traded 2 draft picks for a guy who caught like 10 passes for them. Vikings not going in the right direction. Back to Justin Herbert. There's a chance he plays this week. And again, it's his non-throwing hand, but we shall see how it plays out. Big storyline here. He threw for 2 touchdowns yesterday. Didn't do anything. Didn't need to do anything against the Raiders. 15 for 21, 151 yards. Ladd McConkey got in the end zone. Good for him. Quentin Johnson got in the end zone. Good for him. Neither guy hit 40 yards. Rondé Gadsden got tackled at the 2-yard line, so his 27-yard catch that was it. There was no passing volume here. They didn't need there to be passing volume. Vidal and Patterson carried the ball 36 times for like 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Chargers just ran it down the Raiders' throats. They couldn't stop him. Amari Hampton in his fractured, not sprained, fractured ankle. We're hoping that he returns next week, or this week, week 14. That's the expectation, at least at this point, for the Chargers. The Bills defeated the Steelers only because the Steelers are terrible. The Steelers fall to 6-6. Aaron Rodgers, poor guy, should have retired. It's getting worse on basically a weekly basis. I like all of you, I would assume. I'm tired of hearing. I heard on the broadcast yesterday, I said 283 times. Slightly exaggerated. Maybe it was 282 times that Aaron Rodgers has a broken wrist. Yeah. Okay. Play and shut up or don't play. I don't. Guys are hurt all over the place on every team. Right? And then we heard the story before the game that he's got a broken wrist in 3 spots. That his wrist is broken, whether it's in 3 spots or 13 spots. It's broken. We know it. But they had to get the report out because it's Aaron Rodgers. Anyway. Bills won this game 26-7. The Bills improved 8-4. Bills had another spotty as hell offensive game. They run the ball very effectively. That was as bad a game again. I'm trying to remember the number I saw. It's like the second worst game against the Steelers. The second most rushing yards the Steelers have allowed in a game since like 1975. Like they got steamrolled. 144 yards for Cook. Davis for 62. Allen himself ran for 38. I mean, they had 250 rushing yards yesterday. Didn't do anything through the air. The touchdown pass went to Keon Coleman on a broken play. Terrell Shavers led the wide receivers in snaps and didn't see a target. They still don't have any idea what they're doing with this receiving core. They desperately need Dalton Kincaid back to help this offense. Brandon Cooks is around now, but Steelers were bad enough yesterday that the Bills had to do one thing to win, and they did it. They ran the ball. But that passing attack of the Bills is continuing to be in significant trouble. It's just a mess right now. Steelers side of things, Metcalf 3 for 32. That's it. They played an entire football game where they completed 3 passes to the wide receiver. It's not 1956. It's 2025. It's just Pat Frymouth didn't even see a target. Your leading receiver is Dwayne Washington. The Steelers are just Arthur Smith in this offense. I don't know. Their offseason plan bombed, and they're stuck because they have no receiving depth. The quarterback play is spotty. This is a really bad offensive team right now. Really bad. And frankly, as it's been said, Jeff Mann said it last week, they should just start Mason Rudolph. They're not going to, but they should. The offense would not be any worse with Mason Rudolph than it is with Aaron Rodgers. Finally, the barn-burning finish in overtime. Commanders fall to the Broncos 27-26. The Broncos moved to 10-2. The Commanders fall to 3-9. Commanders' season is over. We have heard that Jaden Daniels could return this week. He better be fully healthy because this season's over. This is meaningless. We'll see. On the Broncos side of things, Bo Nix made some nice plays. Made some plays. In the end, he was just a guy, 320 yards, touchdown, interception, as we've kind of gotten used to here the last month with him. Ho-hum fantasy efforts. RJ Harvey got in the end zone twice, which was great. We all love that play on the left side of the field where he ran over the defender for a first down. That was great early in the game. Scored 2 touchdowns, touched the ball 16 times. Didn't do much, but got in the end zone twice, and he clearly is the lead back. Jaleel McLaughlin had 7 touches. Beatty had 3. Harvey is the guy, got in the end zone twice. There we go. Ingram 6 for 79 on 9 targets. He's not getting 9 targets again this season. He's a passable dart throw tight end option. We know that. That's all he is. Sutton got in the end zone, 5 for 62 and 1. And again, if you have Sutton, and I know a lot of you do because we talked about him in the offseason over at FG. Should be starting Sutton every week, period. I know a lot of you don't want to. A lot of questions about should we play him? And yes, you want to play him. Yes, yes, yes. The rest of this team, really interestingly, Troy Franklin was the number one wide receiver on this team for a month, right? He was running ahead of Sutton, more targets, more routes run, more receptions. They had a bye, and they come back from the bye. They throw the ball 45 times in the game, which is a lot. Sutton gets 6 targets. Franklin gets 3. Pat Bryant also got 7. Pat Bryant, I think he ran more. So let me pull this up too. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, he played more. The snap count, final snap count for the receivers for the Broncos. Sutton, 57 snaps, 40 routes. Pat Bryant, 49 snaps, 37 routes. Troy Franklin, 37 snaps, 32 routes. So coming out of the bye, we return. Bryant has more targets than Franklin. Bryant plays more snaps than Franklin. Bryant runs more routes than Franklin. Pat Bryant should be added off waiver wires this week. That's just what that means. Does that mean he's usable or startable? Does that mean it's time to panic with Franklin? But I'm just telling you, more targets, more snaps, more routes, double the target share. Something to think about. On the other side here, Marcus Mariota threw 50 passes, which is ridiculous. 294 yards, touchdown, interception, ran for 55 yards, a huge fantasy effort if you started him. Again, Jaden Daniels is hopefully starting the next game for the Commanders. We'll see. Chris Rodriguez got in the end zone. They didn't do anything on the ground. I mean, look, they had 3 running backs go for 91 yards. The quarterback ran for 55. It's unfair for me to say they did nothing on the ground. They ran for 140 yards, the Commanders, against a Broncos team that's very good. So, okay. Now, when your team leader is your quarterback in the rushing department, when you throw 50 times and you don't even get to 300 passing yards, Zach Ertz, 10 catches for 106 yards was fantastic for those of you that started him. Deebo Samuel, 5 for 64 yards. Kind of where we're at with Deebo Samuel. We've seen that a lot over the last couple of years. He's fine, but he's always slightly disappointing. The big surprise here was Terry McLaurin, who I said on the show, I said on Jeff's show, I said in Discord, I wasn't starting McLaurin this week. I wanted to see it. Well, we saw it. So now things changed for me. Credit to Jeff Mans, who did have Terry McLaurin as a top 5 wide receiver in the rankings over at fantasyguru.com, top 25. McLaurin had 7 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. He saw 14 targets. He will never see 14 targets again. He may never see 14 targets again in his NFL career. Like that was, they threw the ball 50 times. And catching half of your targets, even though the routes he runs and everything, still catching half your passes. But 796 and a touchdown. If you started McLaurin, if you had the balls, the stones to start McLaurin, boy, did you get a payoff. A huge effort for him. Treylon Burks. Yeah, that Treylon Burks from the Titans also had a touchdown. All right, let's take a look at some of your comments here. Manny asked the question, with the playoffs around the corner, I'm thinking of dropping Aaron Jones, healthy or not. That offense is ass. We don't know how much time, if any, the shoulder injury is going to cost Aaron Jones. I don't like giving up running back depth, number one. Number two, I don't like giving up the number one running back on a team, which I think Jones is if he's healthy. I don't know your team, your scenario, Manny. I don't know who you'd pick up. At this point in time, I can't support dropping Aaron Jones. If we hear he's going to miss 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay. Is the offense ass? 100% agree with you, right? True. The offense is ass with the Saints, and we had 17 touches for Neal, right? So you can still find some value there. Totally get the sentiment. I think we need more information. Clearly disappointing Jones. But again, like you said, the offense is completely ass. Angela, for anyone that tells me I have to start Saquon, no, I don't. But a lot of talk about some of the hits, some of the misses. Justin Jefferson getting a lot of ire from people, deservedly so. Saquon Barkley has been a massive disappointment. Massive. He is not literally even half the player he was last year. Massive disappointment. Did I say it a third time? Yeah, massive. You should still be starting him, in my opinion, but massive, massive disappointment. Let's see here. Roll down here as we're going through some things. Christian says, playing first base, the pitcher is not unusual. I got hit in the face and the ball bounced off a rock when I was playing it short. Well, yeah. I got hit in the groin area when I was like 6. I was playing minor B baseball. And so I wore a cup from the age of like 7 on. And one time I got nailed in the cup. And if you don't use a cup, kids, or your parents don't tell your kids to use the cup when they play baseball, you're crazy. Playing first base, went down to field the ball. For those of you that play baseball, there's like that half circle cutout on the grass. Went down to field the ball. The ball skipped off the grass and hit me square in the nuts. And I thought I was dead. And I'm to this day, my privacy area wouldn't work if I didn't win the cup that day. I mean that I couldn't stand up. Like it was in the cup saved my life. Just telling you. Cup saved my life. Amon Ra was zero. Well, yeah. I mean, Amon Ra hitting the zero. In the one and done league, we're playing with Jeff Mans. For those of you that are in that, hey, guess who finally started Amon Ra St. Brown this week? Hello. In a one and done scenario, Amon Ra St. Brown, who catches 6 balls for 65 yards and a touchdown every game. Wait till this point to start him on Thursday in the Dome against the Bears. Played a handful of snaps. So I'm right there. I feel you. I feel you, C-Dog. Tony C, you're the man. No, Tony, you're the man. I was going to say myself, but that wouldn't be right. Let's see here. Brandon, people think I should trade Pittman for Meyer. Sorry, not people, PPR. You think I should, again, I don't know how we're still making trades at this point of the season, but okay. Think I should trade Pittman for Myers and Shakir. Shakir right now isn't usable. I mean, that's, if you're doing a 2-for-1 trade, you have to drop somebody, right? So that's something to think about here, Brendan. A PPR obviously helps Shakir. He's not usable in a non-PPR at all. But even in a PPR setup, I mean, look at his usage here of late. In 2 of his last 3 games, Khalil Shakir hasn't gotten to 2 points. And I talked pretty in depth, without getting in depth, about the Bills' offense right now. Shakir is not usable right now, in my opinion. Certainly for those of you in 2 wide receiver leagues, he's absolutely not usable. And even those of you in three wide receiver starting spots, you better be in like a 14-team league. Like if you're in a 10-team league, you can't use Shakir. He's useless right now. Not saying he won't rebound and get 10, 11, 12 points down the stretch, but remember, first week of the playoffs against the Patriots in New England, that is not a good matchup. Week 16 on the road in Cleveland, that is not a good matchup. I mean, this is really Pittman for Myers. And this, interesting enough, I wonder, Brandon, if you were in Discord, because this is basically the same question I got earlier. People, the Myers versus Pittman thing, if you wanted to say they're the same guy, I'm not going to push back too much on that. To say that Pittman isn't a focal part of the offense, I don't think that's accurate. I think that they have struggled offensively. They've had a couple of rough games. Falcons are pretty good defense. They were in Kansas City, which is a really difficult place to play. They just played the Texans. That is a really difficult series of matchups. They're on the road this time against the Jaguars. That's better, but it's still on the road. Then they face Seattle in Seattle. That's a tough matchup. If you play week 18, they're facing Houston again. I'm not against making this trade. I think it's a very lateral trade. Rich Mileto over at FG would say don't do it because he doesn't do lateral trades, 1-for-1 things. If Shakir was usable, at this point, he's just really not. And C-Dog says, I have Allen hoping he can be the guy we need in the fantasy playoffs. Yeah, he did it again, rushing and passing touchdown yesterday. So, he gave you a decent fantasy effort. But that, again, Terrell Shavers led the wide receivers in routes. Led the wide receivers in snaps, and he didn't get a target. Like, is that normal? Tyquan Thornton, he plays 22 snaps, doesn't get a target. Cool. You lead your team in snaps, and you don't get a target? So, yeah, there's a lot going on here. A lot up and down, a lot of poor and questionable performances indeed. As you see there on the screen, go to fantasyguru.com, click that subscribe tab in the top right corner. If you like what you heard, saw, listened to today, any day here on the show, we're here Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We go about an hour each time out. Jeff Mans follows us up about an hour later on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So check him out over there in about an hour. Follow me on social medias at The Ray Flowers. But more importantly, go to FG, click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get signed up for any and all products over at FG. You can also send an email, support@fantasyguru.com. Support@fantasyguru.com. Oh, C-Dog, you're in jury duty right now? Shh. Don't turn the volume up when I'm yelling. Shh. I appreciate you doing your jury duty and not trying to get out of it too, by the way, Sea-Dog. Go to fantasyguru.com, click that subscribe tab in the top right corner. As you can see on the screen, we have multiple options here. Remember, the MVP plan is available right now. It's basically everything but football and baseball. So that MVP plan is hockey, basketball, NASCAR, PGA, MMA, horse racing, all the sports besides baseball and football. Right now, you can get it. Click the subscribe tab, sign up for the MVP plan. The NFL plan, all of the NFL and college football, all of it, all football for the rest of the season. DFS, seasonal, wagering, all three components for both NFL and college football, one price. Send an email support@fantasyguru.com, support@fantasyguru.com. And oh, by the way, you want to get some stuff? Fantasyguru.com. No, turn that again. www.fantasyguru.sellfi.store. You can see it on the screen there. Get some swag. You want some swag? You want a Jeff Mann shirt? You want an Oracle shirt? Stuff like that. We can help you out over at fantasyguru.com. So tell everybody about the show if you wouldn't mind. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for the interaction, everybody in the chat rooms. Thank you for always being positive. I really appreciate it. And let's try to keep that positivity going here in the holiday season. A lot of people struggle at this time of year. Let's do what we can to uplift people and not be asshats like so many people clearly want to be or can't help themselves on a consistent basis. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk the waiver wire. We'll talk storylines and heading into week 14. We'll have Mondo Marsal visiting with us about halfway through the show. Have a great day here on a Monday. Tune over to SiriusXM for Jeff Mann Show from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. That is the Elite Sports Show Monday through Friday. I'm Ray Flowers. This has been Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by fantasyguru.com.